And welcome. Hello, everyone. Today's episode is all about investing and the question I get all the time about whether immigrants can invest. But I really want to talk about a little step beyond that of how investing changes your life. So I'm going to answer the question yes, absolutely. Immigrants can invest regardless of their immigration status. That's a really big misconception that people think that they're not allowed to if they don't have a certain status or if they've lost their status, if they're undocumented. And there's a lot of misinformation and bad advice out there from people who don't know how the immigration law system work and the financial system work at the intersection. But you can absolutely invest if you are an immigrant, and you should, because it changes your life. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. For those of you who are new to our community, if this is the first time you're listening to me, welcome. My name is Adina, and I'm the co-founder and co-creator of Immigrant Finance, which I created with my husband, Mauricio, who's an immigrant from Ecuador, after we went through our whole challenge and experience and struggle when he immigrated here in 2013. And we really struggled a lot with money and finances for many, many years. We were living paycheck to paycheck and going into some debt and, didn't know how to budget. We're definitely not investing. We were getting totally underpaid and we had no idea how to get out of that, and really lost hope for a while because we saw so many barriers that our family was going to have with Mal being an immigrant. And there was just no information out there that we could find about questions like, can immigrants invest, and how immigrants can build credit and take out a mortgage and save for retirement, all these things. There was nothing we could find in any of the personal finance books, right? They just weren't speaking to our personal situation. I'm also an immigration lawyer, and so I have worked with hundreds, if not thousands, of clients as a lawyer in their immigration cases, and seen the impact that money has on people's lives, and particularly in the immigration system. It can be the difference from whether or not you can afford a lawyer, which there's studies showing people are 10 times more likely to win their case if they have a lawyer, right? That can all come down to money and finances. So there's so much to talk about in this topic of immigration and finances, and investing is what I'm going to be speaking more about today. And it's a really big topic that I know a lot of folks in our community are interested in. So let me answer that question a little bit more in depth of, can immigrants invest? Like I said, absolutely. So there's so much information out there that's not accurate about this that says immigrants can't. I'm actually even studying right now for a financial certification exam. And in the finance textbook, and this is more about credit cards than investing, but in the actual textbook, they talk about how different populations in society may not be able to have credit cards. And they mention immigrants, which is not true. Immigrants absolutely can have credit cards. So you can see, even if in a finance book they're giving wrong information, how much that may also be true in others of finances besides credit cards, including investing. And this was something we really didn't know. So in our first few years with Mao in the country, he was on temporary visas, and they were like short-term 2 or 3 month visas that may or may not be renewed. We never knew if he was going to lose status or go out of status. We had some periods became really close. It was really scary. And, it was unclear whether in that situation he could be investing. And then we've now worked with, over 70 individuals and their family members through our Immigrant Finance School program to help them get started investing. And I have not yet come across any situation where someone cannot. It can just be more tricky. So that's exactly what we help people with. There are more barriers to getting those investment accounts open when you're an immigrant, particularly if you're undocumented. But if you have an individual tax identification number, also called an ITIN number or a TIN number, then you can invest. You do not need a social security number to be investing. And we, again, have helped dozens and dozens of people open their investment accounts with an ITIN. Again, it can just be a little bit more complicated, but that's what we're really here to support people with. So I hope that addresses the question of, yes, if you are an immigrant, you can be investing. Let's talk about why you should be investing and how it can change your life. Now, I've done many, many talks and immigrant finance podcast episodes about why mathematically it's important to invest. And I'll sum that up a little bit, but that's not really the purpose of today's talk, because it's the numbers are so clear. The numbers don't lie. It's just math. If you pull up any investment calculator online, just type in Google investment calculator and start playing around with it, you will see the power of what's called compound interest. Compound interest is basically how your money makes money by itself when you're investing in the stock market. So when you're investing, you get something called interest, which is basically the companies you're investing in are thanking you for investing in them, and they're giving you money as a thank you, the free money on top of the money that you're investing into the stock market. And this concept also applies to bank accounts. Many bank accounts actually don't give interest these days, but there are plenty that do, that give the competitive interest rates, where you're also getting free money just by letting the bank hold on to your money. But these days, the interest rates are really low in banks with where the economy's at. So you would get much, much more investing in the stock market. But it's the same concept with investing. You're getting free money for doing nothing. And this is really what passive income looks like. Passive income is when you stop trading time for money and you start making money while you're sleeping, or while you're on vacation, or while you're cooking, or while with your family. You don't have to trade hour by hour at a job to make money. And that's, again, because of the power of compound interest, where your interest that you're getting, that free money that they're paying you, whether it's the bank or the investment companies, where they're paying you for just participating and giving your money and investing, that money also earns interest. So a saying I love I've heard is that investing in the stock market is basically like when your money's making babies, because you are getting not only that interest, but also that interest is earning interest. So this is how it works mathematically when you invest, how you're able to build serious wealth, even just by investing a small amount every month. It doesn't have to be a lot. It's really not about how much you're investing. It's much more about time in the market and investing consistently every single month, even a small amount, even if it's, $20 or $50, but doing that over a long period so that you have that money making babies, so that money is getting interest, which is getting interest, which is getting interest. And then it has that compounding effect. It's growing exponentially. That's why it's called compound interest. So to not take advantage of that would be missing a serious opportunity for wealth building. And this is how the vast majority of Americans build their wealth. I have never seen someone in this country who has built actual generational wealth, without participating in either the stock market investing or investing in other ways, such as in their business or in real estate. And if you look at successful people, wealthy people, millionaires, billionaires, they are usually doing a combination of all three of those things. They're investing in the stock market, they have businesses, and they're investing in real estate. They're spreading out their risk that way. But then if you look at the Americans that are more middle class, that are building generational wealth as well, and be able to build enough money for their retirement to live on comfortably and to pass down money to their family members, to their children, they're almost always doing that through investing in the stock market. That's what you hear about if you've heard the term like 401ks, right? That's a type of investment account, right? So they are investing in the stock market to build their wealth, and these people are taking advantage of that compound interest for their money to grow. So immigrants need to be part of this. Immigrants have every right to also be having access to these economic tools to be building wealth, so that they can have more stability, they can have more options and choices, they can have the lives that they want, they can provide for their families, and they can claim their power more. So let's start talking about that, because when you invest in the stock market, yes, the money is great and the wealth building is great. And it's obviously so much more than that, because if you're building generational wealth, you're passing that down to your children, or you're providing a better life for your children than you could have had. What could be more rewarding and powerful in that? So there's a lot of obviously monetary benefits to investing, but there's something much more powerful that happens as well that I wanted to really hit on in this episode, which is things start to shift with you as a person and with your power and your potential. Because when you make that decision to start investing, you're making a decision that from now on, I am not going to only trade my time to make money and build wealth. I'm not going to just work hour by hour to receive money. I'm also going to let my money work for me. And that is a incredibly powerful move and decision to make, because you are really claiming that you deserve that. You are claiming that regardless of what the immigration laws are, regardless of what the immigration system is, regardless of what your immigration status is, or the immigration status of your parents or your family members or your siblings, you are saying, I deserve to be part of this major economic tool that most Americans are using to build wealth. And I get to be part of that too. I belong just as much. And my immigration situation has nothing to do with this, right? I deserve it too. And it's so much of it is about claiming your worthiness and claiming what you deserve. And that's actually a lot of the work that I do with people in our community, with our students, on learning more about finances, about learning how to manage money, learning to invest, learning to increase income. A lot of it really comes down to deciding you deserve it too. And we have, all been told so many things in society. We've been conditioned in so many ways where we have limiting beliefs of what we can and not can and can't do, and what people like us aren't allowed to do. And I've had so many students tell me, I never thought I could be an investor because I was always told growing up that's just like what white men in suits do, right? Or people like me don't invest. So there's a lot of limiting beliefs subconsciously that can really be holding you back with your finances. And a lot of the work is about getting over that and just making a decision that you deserve it too, and then doing it. The actual implementation of opening the investment account, or learning what to invest in, or how the investing in the stock market works, that's actually not the hard part. I can teach you that pretty easily. We break it down in a very simple way in our Immigrant Finance School program. I'm telling you, that's not the hard part. The hardest part is believing that you get to participate in that too, and that you have the right, that you get to also build wealth, and that you get to have access to this. And it's a choice, it's a decision, because I'm telling you now that your immigration status is not a reason why you can't invest. Don't let that be a barrier, because it's just not true. If you have that ITIN, you can be investing. And I'm here to support you. We are here, this amazing community in immigrant finance. There's a whole community we've built now together of all these individuals who are immigrants and their family members who have various types of status and situations, who are all becoming investors, and they're doing it, and they're motivating each other, and they're making it happen. And you can be part of that too. You have every right to claim your power as well. And it changes your life when you do this. So let's talk a little bit about how it can change your life. Also a big part of building wealth is really tapping into the abundance that we all have, right? That we all have access to. I really believe that as humans, we are all born to have a right to abundance. And again, it's about like getting rid of those barriers and limiting beliefs so that you can get there. But when you decide to become an investor and start investing, that opportunity opens up for you, for your ability to start stepping into your abundance, because you're now in a situation where not only does your money have infinite potential to grow and expand more than the amount you put in, right? If you look at those calculators, those investment calculators, you'll see you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars in your lifetime in interest, in free money, just by investing a small amount, couple $100s a month consistently over time, right? So you can step into that abundance for your money to grow, but that's also about letting yourself grow as a person. Because what does that mean? What does that look like if you go from being someone who has no retirement plan, broke, living paycheck to paycheck with no way out, right? No idea how to get out of that situation, frustration, um, lack of belief, insecurity about money and finances, right? To go from that to being a confident investor where you're saying, yeah, my money's going to grow for me while I sleep. And yeah, I'm going to have a plan for retirement and I'm going to be comfortable. And do you know how much better you can sleep at night? That was our experience when we went from having no investments, having no idea how it worked, being totally intimidated how investing works, to finally figuring it out after years and years of research and training, um, and developing strategies and all that. It was like, oh my God, we're actually going to be okay. We're going to, like, there was so much anxiety I didn't even know I had for so many years that I couldn't articulate. But looking back, I see how much I had, because you just sleep better at night when you know your future is secure, right? And you have the right to have that too. There's no reason why you shouldn't, just because of your immigration status or situation. That's just, you deserve more than that, right? So it's about accepting and letting yourself be part of that energy of, I get to grow as well. Just as my money will grow when I'm investing, I'm going to also let myself grow as a person. And guess what happens when you have more stability, when you know you have a plan for retirement and you know you're going to have your money growing, while you're sleeping, and you have a way to be generating income that's not just trading for time for money. Well, what happens is you start to have more brain space available for kind of your next level, right? Because when we don't have those things, I know because I've been there. I was there for years when Mao immigrated here and we were really screwed financially. Um, all of my brain space went to worry about money all the time. I was constantly worried and anxious about money. And every single fun thing that came in our life, every opportunity, the response was always, we can't afford it. And we just felt so limited and stuck. So when you get out of that and you put yourself on a pathway to be where you can be growing your money and growing yourself and having more stability and security for the future, guess what? That brain space opens up to other things. You don't have all of that time and energy you were putting to worrying about money now starts to become a little bit more free. And that's when you can get into creating things and going more into your potential and learning and helping others, right? And making an impact and doing what you're meant to do as a person, because you're here for a reason. So this is really the reason I want to drive home why it's so important to start investing and to improve your finances in whatever way that looks like, even if it's just, starting to budget for the first time or starting to build an emergency fund. It's about making that brain space so that you have space available to step into who you really are, because we need you. You're here for a reason. There's people who need you. There's people who need your help, who need what you're meant to do. And you owe it to yourself and you owe it to them to put yourself in a financial position where you can be available to make an impact, to help others, to be there more for your family. Sometimes it just looks like being able to have more mental space to be present with your family. I know with my husband Mal, like he also was worrying all the time about money, and now that we have built more of a financial plan and more stability, and we have a business, like he was able to leave his job and he takes care of our daughter, and he gets to be present with her and not just sit there worrying all the time, right? Like he gets to actually be in the moment. So there's so much more that comes when you start investing. It's so much more about just making more money, or even just more than just getting out of trading time for money. It's about demanding that you get to be part of this country's economic opportunities as well, that you deserve it, that you are worthy just as much as anyone else who is a citizen or who's not from a family of immigrants, and claiming your power. So think about, what can you do today to start claiming your power, improving your finances, taking a step forward to becoming an investor. And if that's something that you're feeling ready to do, we are here to support you. We love helping people in this community become investors. It is so meaningful. We actually just had one of our students, Juan, get his investment account open yesterday for the first time after trying for a really long time and not being able to figure it out. And it's always so inspiring to hear, someone when they have that, it never gets old. And he said, I can't believe this. This brings hope after I felt left out by the big opportunities this country gives. It's because of your work that this was fast, and it felt like much like copy and paste, and this information was absolutely valuable. Thank you. So we're super excited for Juan. His whole life is going to be different now. Like, he's going to be growing his money. He knows how to make money. There's plenty of jobs out there, but he didn't know how to grow it. And now he has a pathway to do it. And that's going to allow him to grow as a person. So if you're ready to be on that path too, that's our purpose. That's what we're here to support you with. So go ahead and apply to Immigrant Finance School at immigrantfinanceschool.com, and we can book a call and talk through if it's a good fit for you. We are happy to answer questions. We always give free 30-minute consultation. You could also if you just want to do a consult, book it at immigrantfinance.com/consult. And we can't wait to get started supporting you. Have a great rest of the day. Thanks for listening. Bye.